Welcome to Reddit Confessions.
My toddler told me the nanny sleeps in mommy's bed. He wasn't lying. He said it so casually, sitting cross-legged on the living room floor, stacking his blocks with sticky hands and total innocence. I froze mid-step. One shoe off, one still on. Keys dangling from my hand. "Say that again, buddy?" I asked, kneeling beside him. Lucas didn't even look up. "Uncle Ben sleeps in mommy's bed when you're at work." He grabbed a green block, stacked it on the red one, and giggled. "Sometimes they wrestle." I smiled. The kind of smile that hides a migraine. Let me back up. My name is Chris Morgan. I'm 37. Software architect for a cybersecurity firm you've never heard of, but that half the government probably depends on. I build systems to keep people safe, secure, trusted. Funny how I couldn't do the same at home. My wife, Erica, 35, picture perfect, PDA's sweetheart, Pinterest boards for birthday parties, fake laughter with the neighbors, and a 1,000-watt smile. But at home, the smile doesn't reach her eyes. Hasn't for a while. Says she's tired. Says I work too much. Says she needs help. So I gave her help. That's how Ben entered our lives. Ben Whitmore, 24, British, charming in the kind of way that makes older women giggle and younger women lean in. He came recommended by one of Erica's friends. A manny, not a nanny, she joked. I wasn't thrilled, but Erica insisted. "Lucas adores him," she said. "And it's just for the afternoons while I finish my classes." Classes? That was the story. She was taking remote psychology courses to find herself again. What she found, apparently, was Ben. At first, it was perfect. Lucas laughed more. Erica smiled again. And God help me, I felt grateful. Like I could finally breathe. Focus on work. Provide, like I was supposed to. But lately, things started to feel off. Erica didn't laugh at my dumb jokes anymore. Her phone was always face down. The laundry piled up. She started wearing makeup again, even when she wasn't going out. And when I came home early last Tuesday, Ben's shoes were in the hallway. Erica claimed he was just helping fix a toy upstairs. Maybe I believed her. Until Lucas opened his mouth. Uncle Ben sleeps in mommy's bed. That night, after Lucas was asleep and Erica was reading in bed with her phone, I went down to the nursery. Lucas had this baby monitor I installed last year. Top of the line, with motion tracking, two-way audio, night vision. I'd synced it to my phone, but hadn't checked the cloud storage in months. I tapped open the app. Watched the live feed. Lucas, sleeping, clutching his stuffed dragon. Then I scrolled back. One night. 2 nights. 3. At 11:42 p.m. On a random Thursday, the camera caught movement. Not in the crib. In the doorway behind it. 2 shadows. A woman's laugh. A man's whisper. And then, a kiss. His hands on her waist. Her back against the wall. My son's night light glowing in the corner, casting just enough light to make out the unmistakable outline of 2 people who weren't tucking in a child. I dropped the phone. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. But I kept watching. Clip after clip. Footage saved automatically to the cloud. Night after night, they got bolder. In the hallway. In the nursery doorway. Once, in the living room while Lucas napped on the couch, just out of frame. She wasn't even hiding it. She'd replaced me with the nanny. No, the manny. In my house. On my furniture. With my child watching TV in the next room. And yet the next morning, I made eggs. Sat across from her at the table while she scrolled through her phone, and Ben handed Lucas a sippy cup like he belonged there. I smiled. Offered Ben some pancakes. He grinned and said, "Cheers, mate." My hand didn't shake. Not even once. But inside, something cracked. And it was just the beginning. He kissed her neck while my son slept in the next room. It wasn't passionate. It wasn't desperate. It was routine, like they'd done it 100 times before. Like this was just another Tuesday night in the home I paid for. I watched it happen on my phone while sitting on the floor of the laundry room. No lights. No sound. Just the hum of the dryer and the cold glow of the baby monitor footage lighting up my face. Erica's laugh was muffled, but it was hers. God, I knew that laugh. I used to chase it through rooms like a lifeline. Now it was being pulled from her by someone else's touch. Ben's hand slid down the small of her back. She leaned into it. And then, black. The camera timed out. A glitch. Probably nothing. But my stomach flipped like it knew better. I restarted the footage. Scrolled further. 1:14 a.m. More movement. Shadows on the hallway wall. A faint creak. Then the bedroom door, our bedroom, opened. Just for a second. A flash of Erica's robe. A man's arm. The door clicked shut again. I didn't throw my phone. Didn't scream or punch the dryer. Instead, I watched it again. And again. And then I did what I always do when I can't breathe. I organized. I pulled my laptop from the hall closet. Hooked it into the cloud storage. Downloaded everything. Clips. Dates. Audio logs. Every camera angle I had from every room with coverage. Our baby monitor system wasn't just for Lucas. I'd installed a hallway cam last year after he figured out how to open doors. A second one caught the kitchen. Motion triggered. High res. It was all there. I labeled folders by night. I labeled subfolders by incident. I made backups. I encrypted them. And I watched. For hours I watched. I didn't just see them touching. I saw the way he looked at her. The smug confidence. Like she was his. Like I was the one in the way. I saw the way she looked at him. Giddy. Flushed. Playful. She used to look at me like that. There was one clip that gutted me more than the rest. A Sunday morning, 8:42 a.m. Lucas had cereal in front of him. Erica kissed Ben's cheek, right in front of him, and whispered something I couldn't hear. Lucas laughed. Like it was a game. I paused the footage. Stared at that frame. My wife. My son. My replacement. And the worst part? They all looked happy. The next morning, I woke before my alarm. Showered. Shaved. Tied my tie slower than usual. I needed to feel controlled. Downstairs, Erica was making coffee. Wearing the same robe from the hallway footage. She didn't look guilty. Just tired. She poured 2 mugs. Ben came in from the patio, barefoot, holding Lucas's toy plane. Morning, he said to me. I nodded. Sleep well. He smirked. Always do. Pancakes? I asked, already reaching for the mix. Hell yeah, mate. Haven't had proper pancakes in ages. I made them from scratch. Let Lucas help stir the batter. Erica laughed when he spilled flour on himself. She kissed his cheek and called him her little chef. Ben sat at the island, sipping coffee like he belonged there. And I stood at the stove, flipping pancakes, thinking about the footage on my laptop. I didn't feel pain. Not yet. What I felt was something colder. Something heavier. Like steel cooling into shape. They thought I didn't know. And that meant I still had time. You just don't spend enough time with the boys, she said. Now I know why. It was 6 months ago. A chilly Saturday afternoon. Erica was standing in the middle of our kitchen, arms folded, expression tight. Like a prosecutor preparing her opening argument. I was rinsing dishes. Still in my work clothes. Still buzzing from a deadline I'd hit the night before. All I wanted was 10 minutes of quiet. Maybe a drink. Maybe my son in my lap watching cartoons. Instead, I got, we need help around here. I turned off the tap. I am helping, I said. Bills are paid. Groceries stocked. Lucas has everything he needs. That's not the same, she snapped. I'm drowning, Chris. You don't see it because you're not here. You get to escape to work while I'm stuck here wiping noses and singing Wheels on the Bus for the 900th time. Her voice cracked. I remember that part. Because it worked. It got to me. You want a sitter? No. I want support, she said, softening. Someone who actually cares. Not just a teenager trying to make extra cash. And then, like she'd just had a brilliant idea. Too fast, too rehearsed, she said. Bethany knows this guy. A Manny. He used to work for her cousin. Great with toddlers. Professional. British, actually. You'll like him. I should have asked more questions. But I didn't. Because the guilt was already creeping in. She'd been dropping hints for weeks. About how tired she was. How I never made it to preschool events. How Lucas was starting to drift from you, Chris. I remember that one hitting like a sucker punch. Fine, I said. We'll meet him. A week later, Ben Whitmore showed up on our doorstep with a perfect smile, clean sneakers, and a casual confidence that immediately set my teeth on edge. Lucas took to him instantly, which hurt more than it should have. Erica watched from the hallway, arms crossed, head tilted, smiling. Told you, she whispered. He's magic with kids. Magic. That was her word. Not mine. The trial week turned into 2. Then a month. Then, well, it just makes sense for him to move in. It's cheaper than daycare, and he can help with nights. I nodded like a damn fool. She spun it so well. Said she needed time to finish her degree. Said the extra hands meant we could have more us time again. That we could feel like a couple, not just co-parents. I bought it. Every word. I even helped carry Ben's things in. A single suitcase. A worn copy of The Great Gatsby. That detail sticks with me. Can't believe it all fit in your car, I said. He grinned. Light traveler, mate. He wasn't supposed to be here long. That's what Erica said. Just a few months. Until I finish my program. Then we'll reevaluate. It's funny now, looking back. How many of those early smiles were just warnings I didn't know how to read? The way she defended him when I said he was a little too familiar. The way she brushed my hand off when I tried to kiss her in front of him. The way she started dressing just a little nicer on the days I wasn't home. They weren't red flags. They were billboards. But here's what really broke me. Last night, after watching another reel of footage, I remembered a conversation from Ben's first week. We were in the garage. I was showing him how to open the circuit panel in case of emergencies. Trying to be welcoming. Trying to be a man. And he said, "You're lucky, you know. Erica's a stunner. Most dads I work for are miserable. Not you, though. You've got the whole package." I laughed back then. But last night, I replayed his tone. He wasn't complimenting me. He was testing me. That's when I went looking for his documents. The guest room closet. Bottom drawer. A zipped duffel bag. I found his passport. Expiration. Fine. Stamps. Messy. Visa. Non-existent. He wasn't supposed to be here. While Erica played perfect mom at the bake sale, I was setting up my trap. She wore a cream-colored sweater, hair curled just enough to look effortless, lipstick matching the strawberry frosting she'd smeared on overpriced PDA cupcakes. Everyone loved her. The room buzzed with compliments. "Oh, Erica, you're glowing. You always bring the best treats." Ben stood behind the table, holding Lucas like he was his own. I stood at the back of the school gym, watching it all through the lens of my phone. I didn't wave, didn't smile. I just recorded. It looked innocent, sure, family-friendly. But I could see the smug ease in Ben's body language. His hand on her lower back. His fingers brushing hers as they passed a water bottle. The kind of subtle intimacy no one else would notice. But I noticed. Every time. After 15 minutes of watching them fake a family, I ducked out and drove home. Lucas's baby monitor system synced to the cloud. But what Erica didn't know was that I'd installed admin-level access months ago when the app glitched. Full remote control. And now, I activated a backup routine, off-site, encrypted, double redundancy. Every frame, every whisper saved. Then I installed a secondary audio mic in the living room smoke detector. She'd never notice. No one ever looks at a smoke alarm. Next, Ben's laptop. He kept it in the guest room. Said it was for his writing. He was working on a novel. British and brooding. Of course. While they were out pretending to be the perfect couple, I snuck in with gloves and a cloned thumb drive. Took less than a minute. Dumped his entire desktop and downloads folder. Did I feel guilty? No. I felt focused. Because this wasn't about jealousy anymore. It was about proof. I needed leverage. Not just for confrontation, but for custody. For divorce. For control. Later that night, after Lucas went to bed and Erica curled up next to Ben on the couch with a blanket and wine, I reviewed the files in the garage. Ben wasn't a writer. There were no drafts. No chapters. Just applications, job sites, Craigslist listings, visa advice forms. He'd been trying to secure a marriage sponsor. For months. My hands went cold. He hadn't just wormed into my house for Erica. He was trying to stay in the country. Permanently. I dug deeper. Emails from an immigration lawyer. Missed appointment reminders. Visa extensions denied. And then, buried in his downloads folder, a document labeled I-94 expiration. Opened it. Read it twice. Ben Whitmore had overstayed his visa. By months. The next morning, Erica kissed me on the cheek like nothing was wrong. "Tastes like frosting," I said. She smiled. "That's what happens when you bake all night." Ben winked at me across the kitchen. "Those cupcakes were a hit, mate." I smiled back. "Hope you enjoyed your last bake sale." I pretended to trust her again. She rewarded me by cheating louder. It started with little things. Erica left her phone face down on the nightstand, even during family movie nights. Used to be she'd hand it to Lucas and laugh while he spammed emojis to my brother. Now, she locked the screen with a passcode she never used to need. She started running errands after dinner. Hair a little too done, lipstick fresh even though she'd just be at the pharmacy. I timed her once. An hour and 42 minutes to buy baby wipes and allergy meds. The wipes never showed up. Ben got bolder, too. Less deferential. More domestic. He'd walk around shirtless in the mornings, like this was a hostel and not my home. He'd tell Lucas bedtime stories, ones Erica and I used to make up together. I heard him one night through the monitor. Once upon a time, there was a brave little boy named Lucas who lived in a house with his mummy and his best friend Ben. I wanted to scream. Instead, I copied the audio and saved it to my case folder. At dinner, Erica would correct me in front of Lucas. "Babe, he doesn't like those peas anymore," she'd say, gently pushing my hand away from the plate. "Ben gives him sweet corn now. Ben gives him." Like I wasn't the father. Like I was some auxiliary adult floating around the edges of their new fairy tale. I knew what was happening. She thought I'd rolled over. That I was the soft, predictable husband, too passive, too polite, too busy to care. And that meant she could get careless. She started leaving receipts in her coat pockets. One from a boutique hotel 20 minutes away. One from a fancy vegan brunch spot we'd never been to together. I took pictures of both. Then came the Friday afternoon when she didn't even come home. No text. No call. Ben picked up Lucas from daycare. Not because I asked him to, but because she did. I saw the text come through on the shared iPad. She forgot to delete it. "Erica, can you grab Lucas? Traffic's insane. I'll be back late. Love you. Ben, course. Be safe, darling. Darling." I read it 4 times. Then archived it. Printed it. Added it to the binder in my office labeled Family Court. When she finally came through the door just after midnight, I was still awake. Sitting in the living room, watching an old Hitchcock film with the volume low. She froze when she saw me. "Didn't think you'd be up," she said, shrugging off her coat. I paused the movie. "Neither did I." She gave a little laugh. "Nervous." I grabbed drinks with Chelsea. Lost track of time. "Cool," I said. "How's Chelsea's husband? Still overseas?" Her face flickered. "Yeah, still in Korea." I nodded. "That's weird. I saw him at Home Depot today." She blinked. "What?" "Yeah, getting mulch. We talked about fantasy football." Silence stretched between us like a wire pulled tight. Then she said, "I'm going to bed." But she didn't look at me as she walked up the stairs. 2 days later, Lucas came running into my office mid-morning, red-faced and hiccuping from tears. I dropped everything. "What's wrong, buddy?" He climbed into my lap, burying his face in my chest. "Uncle Ben said not to tell you." "Tell me what?" I asked, heart pounding. He sniffled. "He said I can't tell Daddy that Mommy sleeps in the guest room when you're at work." My spine went ice cold. "She brings her pillow and everything," Lucas mumbled. "And she locks the door." I looked into my son's eyes. And that's when I knew. They weren't even trying to hide it anymore. "You're not their father, Ben." Her words stung more than his touch. I wasn't supposed to hear it. No one ever is, right? It was a Tuesday night. Rain tapping the windows. Lucas asleep with his usual stuffed dragon half off the bed. Soft snores filling the monitor. I was in the garage, tinkering with a drawer that didn't need fixing. Just needed somewhere to be. And then my phone buzzed. The baby monitor app sent a motion alert. Not from the nursery. From the hallway. I opened the app. Listened. At first, nothing. Just muffled movement, like someone pacing. Then a door creaked. A voice, low, sharp, his, pierced the silence. "Why are you acting cold again?" I tapped to increase audio gain. My pulse kicked into overdrive. Another voice. Hers. Quiet, clipped. "Tired. Because you're getting reckless. Ben, I pick up your kid. I feed him dinner. I tuck him in while your husband, your actual husband, sits downstairs pretending this house isn't already mine." "Erica, stop. Don't say that." "Ben, why?" "It's true. He's barely here. You said it yourself. He's more married to his code than to you." She didn't deny it. Instead, she whispered, "That's not the point. We have to be careful." "Ben, careful? Erica, we've been sneaking around for months. You said you were going to talk to him, that we'd figure out a way." "That." Erica cut him off. Her voice was sharp now, angry. "I said I'd figure it out. Not we." A long silence. Then, Ben, his voice hardening. "So what am I to you then? Some live-in fantasy? A toy?" Erica's answer? Cold. Flat. Surgical. Your leverage. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You're unbelievable." "I'm practical," she snapped. "You want a green card. I want out. We use each other." That was the deal. That was the moment everything shifted. Because I thought I was the only one being used. Turns out Ben was just another pawn on her board. Maybe I'd been the king. Maybe just a rook. But she moved us both with the same polished fingers. Ben's voice cracked slightly. "So you're not leaving him for me?" Another pause. Then, "No, I'm not leaving him at all. Not until I know I'll win." Win. Like this was a game. Like our life, our son, this house, were poker chips to push forward when she had a good hand. Ben's tone changed after that. Colder. Less desperate. "So you're telling me," he said slowly, "that I've risked deportation to be your side project?" "No one asked you to stay," she snapped. "You wanted to." He muttered something under his breath. The audio glitched. And then, a thump. Like someone shoved something. Or someone. My hand tightened around the phone. I waited. Then Erica hissed, "Don't ever touch me like that again." "Ben, or what? You'll report me?" "Go ahead. I shows up. You'll have to explain why your son's favorite bedtime buddy isn't your husband." Another pause. Then her voice, smaller now. Just one line. "I swear to God, if you ruin this, I'll bury you." The door creaked again. Footsteps. The monitor went silent. I sat in the dark, my phone still in my hand, lungs refusing to work. She didn't love him. She was using him. But here's the problem. Ben wasn't in it for love either. He was in it for a green card. And he was running out of time. If a judge saw this footage, she'd lose the kids tomorrow. That thought came to me somewhere between video clip number 38 and number 57. I was cataloging chaos, building a timeline of every betrayal, every whispered threat, every time my son cried in the next room while she moaned for a man who wasn't me. This wasn't about jealousy anymore. It was about custody. I stopped watching the footage like a husband. Started watching like a prosecutor. Friday, 2:14 p.m. Erica left Lucas alone in the bathtub for 10 full minutes while she argued with Ben outside the door. Water sloshed. The baby monitor caught him calling her name twice. Nothing. Just muffled fighting. Monday, 11:06 a.m. Erica asleep on the couch. Ben nowhere in sight. Lucas in the backyard alone, chasing the neighbor's dog up the hill toward the open street gate. Thursday, 9:53 p.m. They're in the kitchen, drinking. Loud. Lucas crying from his room. She yells, "Not now, sweetie," and turns back to whatever Ben's whispering in her ear. I wrote it all down. Every timestamp. Every clip. Built a spreadsheet. Labeled columns. Date. Incident. Duration. Risk level. Audio video reference. I didn't even cry anymore. Just worked. Because this wasn't about what she did to me. This was about what she stopped doing for him. Lucas. Our son. 3 years old and already learning to carry silence the way most kids carry toys. He'd stopped asking where she was. Stopped asking why Ben read stories now instead of her. He just adjusted. Like kids do. Like survivors do. And I wasn't going to let that become permanent. So I called an old friend, Stacy Tran. Family law attorney. Tough as nails and twice as sharp. We went to college together. She once helped a single father get custody after his wife OD'd with the baby in the car. This would be clean compared to that. She met me at her office. Clean lines. Glass walls. No frills. "Chris," she said after I laid it all out. "How long have you had this footage?" "About 3 weeks. Maybe longer." She raised an eyebrow. "And you haven't confronted her?" "No." "Why?" I looked her in the eye. "Because I wanted to win." She didn't smile. Just nodded. "Smart." I slid the drive across the table. "Everything's on here. Footage. Transcripts. The works." She plugged it into her laptop and clicked through. After 5 minutes of silence, She leaned back and exhaled. Jesus. I nodded. This is more than enough, she said. We're not talking just infidelity. We're talking child endangerment, negligence, emotional instability. If we present this the right way, full custody's on the table. And her? I asked. She glanced up. Depending on how badly she fights it, supervised visitation. Maybe less. I should have felt relief. I didn't. Just a quiet, hollow ache. Chris, she said gently, do you want to destroy her? I paused. Thought about it. No, I said. I want to protect my son. She nodded. That's the difference between you and her. She's playing a game. You're playing for someone else's future. She started gathering documents. We'll start drafting. I'll need a formal declaration, your digital evidence, and a few signatures. Then we file. I stood. Stacy. Yeah. If it gets ugly, I'm not backing down. She looked me dead in the eye. Good. Because you won't have to. I reported him anonymously. They gave me a file number. That's how simple it was. 10 minutes on a government website. A few clicks. A brief description. I didn't even have to lie. Name, Benjamin Whitmore. Location, residential address provided. Violation, overstayed visa. Employment, live-in nanny, cash under the table. They asked if I had supporting documents. I attached a copy of his I-94 expiration date, a screenshot of an email thread with his immigration lawyer, and a photo of him holding my son. Then I hit submit. A case number popped up, and just like that, the clock started ticking. ICE doesn't move fast, not for low-level overstays like Ben, but they move. Quietly, strategically. And the best part? He had no idea. That week, I watched everything through a different lens. Ben stopped smirking so much. Erica got twitchier, jumpier. Her phone was never more than 2 inches from her hand. She stepped out to take calls in the garage. I once walked in on her whispering frantically to someone, only for her to hang up the second she saw me. You okay? I asked. Fine, she snapped, brushing past me like I was furniture. I started sleeping in the guest room. Told her it was to help Lucas adjust to a new nap schedule. She didn't argue, just nodded, eyes glassy, fingers tapping the countertop like she was counting down to something. Lucas picked up on it, too. One night he asked me, "Why's mommy mad all the time?" I didn't answer, didn't know how. But then, things got worse. Ben started slipping, losing that slick charm, that curated confidence. He yelled at Lucas one morning when the kid spilled juice on his jeans. Not a firm dad tone, a full-blown snap. I was right there in the doorway, watched it unfold. Ben froze when he saw me. Everything all right? I asked, voice calm. He stammered, something about lack of sleep and sugar crashes. I just stared. He left the room. That night, Lucas said something that chilled me more than any footage ever could. He whispered, "Uncle Ben told me I make mommy tired." I hugged him tighter than I ever had. The next day, Erica tried to cover it. "He's just stressed," she said over coffee. "Visa stuff. Work stuff." "Yeah," I replied. "I imagine overstaying a visa is stressful." Her eyes flicked up to mine. Just for a second. She knew. She knew I knew. And the fear in her face? It was beautiful. By Friday, they were fighting behind closed doors. The baby monitor picked up bits and pieces. "Erica, I told you to stay calm." "Ben, they're watching me now. Someone reported me." "Erica, then fix it." "Ben, how?" "Huh? Marry you? You haven't even filed for divorce." Silence. Then something that sounded like a slap or a chair scraping across the tile. I didn't flinch, just noted the time. Friday, 9:14 p.m. Saved the audio. Labeled it, "Cracks, Verbal Conflict Number 2. On Sunday, Erica skipped Lucas's playdate. Said she had a headache. Lucas cried when she didn't show. Ben tried to hug him. Lucas flinched. That night, I sat on the porch, beer in hand, stars above me, phone buzzing every few minutes. ICE case update. Investigation opened. Case officer assigned. Preliminary review in progress. And just like that, the floor beneath them started to give. He put his hand on me in my own kitchen. That's when I smiled. It happened on a Wednesday night. Lucas was asleep upstairs, finally. Erica had gone for a drive to clear her head. Translation, she couldn't stand being near either of us long enough to fake civility. I was finishing dishes when Ben stormed in from the back patio. No hello. No pretense. You think you're clever, don't you? He spat. I dried my hands calmly, turned around. What are you talking about? He stepped closer. I could smell cheap beer and something sour under his cologne. His hands were shaking. You know what I'm talking about. Someone reported me to immigration. Lots of people could have done that, I said, shrugging. Landlord, nosy neighbor. Cut the shit, he snapped. It was you. I didn't say anything. Didn't need to. That silence told him everything. His eyes narrowed, nostrils flared. You smug little. He lunged. Fast. Sloppy. Shoved me. Both hands to the chest. Not hard enough to knock me down. Just hard enough to mean it. And for one brief second, I saw red. I could have broken his nose. Dropped him to the tile. I'm stronger, older, meaner in ways he hasn't even earned yet. But I didn't move. I just smiled. What are you doing, Ben? I asked, voice low. Hitting the husband now? Is that part of your immigration strategy? He froze. Realized too late what he'd just done. I lifted my phone. The voice recorder was still running. Had been for 15 minutes. Ben's face drained of color. You're insane, he muttered, backing away. You're a psychopath. I stepped closer. No, Ben. I'm a father. I'm a husband. And I'm done playing house with the guy who wants to steal both. He shook his head, laughed nervously. No judge will believe you. Actually, I said, they don't need to believe me. I pulled out the flash drive from my pocket and placed it on the counter like a dagger. Just have to believe the camera. He stared at it, then at me. Then he walked out, slowly, into the night. I didn't follow. Didn't need to. Because I already knew what tomorrow held. The next morning, Erica was in the kitchen, making eggs like the past 4 months hadn't happened. She didn't even look up when I walked in. I poured coffee, sat across from her. She finally glanced at me, eyes rimmed red. Where's Ben? She asked. I took a long sip. Let it burn. Packing. What? He's leaving tonight. ICE is coming for him. I filed an official statement yesterday, attached surveillance, transcripts, audio of his little outburst. She dropped the spatula. You set him up? No, I said calmly. You did. I just documented it. She sank into the nearest chair. You don't understand, she whispered. You're blowing everything up. I leaned forward. No, Erica, you did that. I'm just lighting the match. He cried when they cuffed him. She screamed at me like I was the traitor. It happened at 7:42 a.m. on a Thursday. Lucas was finishing his cereal. I was packing his lunch. Erica was upstairs in the shower, humming some tune like her life wasn't already on fire. Ben? He was still in the guest room, half asleep. When the doorbell rang, I didn't even flinch. Lucas looked up. Daddy, finish your breakfast, buddy. I opened the door. 2 agents. ICE. Polite but firm. Plain clothes. Bulletproof vests under their jackets. Christopher Morgan? Yes. Is Benjamin Whitmore on the premises? I nodded. They showed me the order. Clean. Legal. Final. May we come in? Absolutely. They were professional. Quiet. Surgical. They asked where he was. I didn't need to answer. Because by then, Ben was already at the top of the stairs, hair messy, wearing a t-shirt that used to be mine. He froze when he saw them. And then, he ran. Stupid. He made it 2 steps down before they had him by the arms, wrenching them behind his back. Lucas started crying in the kitchen. I heard the cereal bowl hit the floor. Erica came flying down the hallway in a towel, screaming. What the hell is going on? The agent spoke over her. Mr. Whitmore, you've been found in violation of federal immigration law. You are being detained for unlawful presence and unauthorized employment. You have the right to remain silent. Stop, Erica yelled, pushing past me. This is a mistake. Ben, say something. Ben didn't say a word. Just stood there, wrists bound, breathing hard. Looking at me. Not with hate. With fear. I stepped toward him. Just close enough to whisper. Told you. He gritted his teeth. And then they walked him out. Down the stairs, through the front door, into the morning sun. I didn't follow. I walked back into the kitchen. Picked up Lucas. Held him against my chest while his little fists clung to my shirt. It's okay, I whispered. He's gone now. Erica stormed in seconds later, towel barely hanging on. What did you do? She screamed. Lucas flinched. I covered his ears. Take a breath, I said. Not in front of him. Don't you dare tell me how to parent. I met her eyes. Cold. Focused. You're not parenting. You're panicking. She shook her head, voice trembling. You ruined everything. You just destroyed our lives. I gently handed Lucas his favorite stuffed dragon, kissed his head, and walked him upstairs to the playroom. When I came back down, she was sitting at the table, crying into her hands. I said nothing, just placed a manila envelope in front of her. She opened it. Read the first line. Petition for primary custody, Lucas Morgan. Plaintiff, Christopher Morgan. Defendant, Erica Morgan. Her mouth opened, closed. Chris, you can't be serious. I sat across from her. You betrayed us first. Erica smiled like a martyr. Then the footage rolled. It was a crisp Monday morning when we walked into the courtroom. She wore cream. Always cream. Innocent. Soft. The grieving mother aesthetic. She clutched a tissue like it was a lifeline. Dotted at dry eyes. Wore just enough mascara to smudge if the moment called for it. Her lawyer sat beside her. Polished, expensive, smug. Me? I sat with Stacy. Hair pulled back, navy blazer, binder thicker than a Bible in her lap. Calm, collected, lethal. The bailiff called the case. Morgan versus Morgan. The judge, a woman in her late 50s, glanced through her notes. This is a petition for sole custody of minor Lucas Morgan. Father present. Mother present. Let's begin. Erica's lawyer stood first. Smooth voice, perfect timing. Your Honor, we believe this petition is an act of retaliation. My client admits to marital strain, yes, but she's always prioritized her son's well-being. She has no history of violence, no legal issues, and has been Lucas's primary caregiver since birth. This sudden filing, following a domestic dispute involving a third party, appears punitive. The judge raised a brow. So the father is retaliating? Correct. Over a personal disagreement, not based on parental fitness. Then it was Stacy's turn. She didn't flinch, didn't blink. Your Honor, what we're presenting today is not about infidelity or emotions. It's about neglect. It's about endangerment. And it's all documented. The judge leaned forward. Explain. Stacy opened the laptop. The first video played, muted, time-stamped. Clip. Erica in the kitchen, wine glass in hand, laughing with Ben while Lucas wandered barefoot outside, alone, toward the street. The judge frowned. Clip 2. Erica asleep on the couch. Lucas tugging on her arm. Crying. She rolls over. Says, go ask Ben. Clip 3. Audio only. Erica yelling. Just leave him. He'll cry himself to sleep. Clip 4. Ben shouting. Erica cursing. Lucas's voice in the background. Stop yelling, Mommy. Erica's lawyer stood. Objection. This is cherry-picked surveillance. Stacy turned to him, cool as ice. It's a 63-page log. These are just the first 4 examples. The judge held up a hand. Sit. Erica. She sat frozen, one hand over her mouth, the other squeezing that tissue until it tore. The judge finally spoke. Mrs. Morgan, are you disputing this is your home? Erica shook her head. Is this your voice? Another pause. Then yes. And this man? The judge tapped a frame of Ben holding Lucas on his lap, both in pajamas, wine bottle on the counter. Erica whispered, that's him. Is he employed legally? No. Was your husband aware of this arrangement? Erica looked at me then, for the first time in weeks. I didn't blink. No, she whispered. The courtroom was dead silent. Stacy stood again. We're also submitting financial records. Chris Morgan has supported the household alone for the past 4 years. He's stable, employed, and has no record of violence, substance abuse, or instability. Lucas is enrolled in preschool under his father's name. Doctor visits? Chris. School pickups? Chris. Emotional security? Chris. The judge nodded. Scribbled notes. I'll be reviewing everything. For now, temporary custody to the father. Mother will have supervised visitation pending full hearing. Erica's body collapsed inward, like someone pulled the bones right out of her. Visitation? She croaked. The judge didn't look up. That's generous, considering what I've seen. We walked out without a word. Outside, Erica grabbed my arm. Chris, please. Don't do this. I pulled free. You already did. You ruined everything, she screamed in the parking lot. I didn't even flinch. It was supposed to be a quick handoff. Lucas had his backpack, his little dinosaur hoodie zipped up to the chin. I walked him to Erica's car, clipboard in hand, court-mandated supervised visitation sheet already signed by the monitor. Erica was late. 15 minutes late. When she finally pulled in, her sunglasses were still on, even though the clouds had rolled in heavy. I could smell the cheap vodka on her breath before she even opened the door. Hey, baby, she sang. Too loud, too bright, too fake. Her lipstick was smudged. Her eyes red. Lucas hung back behind my leg. He doesn't want to go, I said, calm as ever. I'm his mother, she hissed. Of course he wants to go. The court-appointed monitor stepped forward. Ma'am, have you been drinking today? Erica laughed. Excuse me. I'm going to have to make a note of your condition. You're all insane, she snapped. This is my son. He loves me. Chris poisoned him against me. He's always been good at that. Quiet little sabotage, right? Lucas started crying. I bent down. It's okay, buddy. You're not going anywhere today. Erica stepped forward fast. Too fast. Give him to me. The monitor blocked her. That's when she lost it. Screamed. Loud. From the throat. People in the lot stopped mid-step. A mother with twins froze in place, eyes wide. You set me up, Erica shrieked. You sick, manipulative bastard. I gave up everything for this family. She was pacing now, wild, hair tangled, gesturing like she was testifying to a jury that wasn't there. I gave you my 20s. I gave you my body. I birthed your child, and you replaced me with a camera and a custody agreement. She turned to the monitor, jabbing a finger in her face. He's the liar. He's been gaslighting me for years. You don't know what it's like living with someone so quiet you start thinking maybe you don't exist. I didn't move, didn't speak, didn't stop recording, because this wasn't for me. It was for the judge. The monitor radioed for backup. Erica kept screaming until a second staff member arrived and calmly asked her to sit down. She shoved a box of baby wipes off the roof of her car. They exploded across the pavement like snow. She collapsed on the curb, sobbing. Lucas whispered, "Why's mommy mad?" I carried him back to the car. Later that evening, I got a call from CPS. They'd received a report about Erica's behavior. Someone from the parking lot had filmed it and posted it. It already had over 20,000 views on Facebook. They said they'd be paying her a visit. I thanked them, and I didn't feel bad. Not one bit. She thought keeping the kids would save her. But she lost them, and me. The court hearing wasn't dramatic. No shouting. No theatrics. Just paperwork, a judge with tired eyes, and the final sound of a gavel hitting with like the last nail in a coffin. Full custody, awarded to the father. Visitation, supervised, bi-weekly. Primary residence, relocated with father. Mother deemed emotionally unstable pending CPS review. She sat there and nodded like she understood. But I could see it in her hands, the tremble, the twitch in her jaw, the cracks widening. She didn't think it would actually happen. She thought the courts would see her tears, her motherhood badge, her pain, and fold. But pain doesn't win cases. Proof does. Afterward, she chased me into the hallway. Chris, please. I kept walking. Chris, just look at me. I turned. She looked like a ghost. Mascara faded. Lips cracked. That cream blouse she always wore to seem innocent, wrinkled and stained at the cuff. Her hands were shaking like she couldn't hold the weight of her own regret. I messed up, she whispered. I know that. But you loved me. I did, I said. Until I didn't. I was scared, she said. Lonely. You were never home. I didn't know how to fix us. So you burned us down? She looked away. I can get help. Therapy. Rehab. Whatever it takes. We can fix this. Just please, don't take him from me. I stepped closer, slow, calm. You took yourself from him, Erica. I'm just giving him a chance to unlearn that. Tears spilled over. Do you still hate me? She asked. I thought about it. No, I said. I don't feel anything for you anymore. That's worse. I walked out, Lucas's little hand wrapped in mine. We didn't go home. We went forward, rented a small house across town. Nothing fancy, just clean, quiet, safe. I decorated his room with dinosaurs and glow stars on the ceiling. Enrolled him in a preschool that didn't ask questions. Started making waffles from scratch every Sunday. He laughed more now. Asked fewer questions about Uncle Ben. Asked more about bedtime stories and whether he could have 2 cookies instead of 1. And then, one night, as I tucked him in, Erica called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail, sobbing. I miss my baby. I miss my family. I miss you. I deleted it. The next week, she showed up at the old house. Left a box on the doorstep. Inside, a onesie from when Lucas was a baby, her wedding ring, and a photo of the 3 of us from the beach trip I thought was real. I threw it in the trash. She left a letter on the doorstep. I read it. Then I burned it. No envelope. No return address. Just folded printer paper, left beneath Lucas's dinosaur rain boots. I found it early. Sunday morning. Before waffles. Before cartoons. The handwriting hit me first. Curved, familiar. That same neat cursive she used when labeling Lucas's preschool lunchboxes. Carrot sticks in lowercase. Mommy loves you with a smiley face. I held the letter like it might explode. It started with my name. Chris. Then the usual. I never meant to hurt you. You were a good husband, a great father. I got lost. He didn't matter the way you think he did. It wasn't about love. It was about not feeling invisible. She went on about the nights I worked late. The silence between us at dinner. The way Lucas clung to me, not her. She blamed the house. The suburb. The sameness. I wanted to feel alive again, and I didn't know how to ask you for help. She called it a mistake. A season. A spiral. She asked for understanding. She begged for it, actually. Not forgiveness, because even she knew that was dead, but mercy. One line stuck with me. If there's any part of you that still remembers who we were, please, don't shut the door completely. I read it twice, then walked out back, struck a match, and dropped it into the fire pit. The flame caught fast. Thin white paper curling into black ash. Her apologies dancing into the morning sky like ghosts. Lucas came outside with a juice box. What's that, Daddy? Just trash, I said. He nodded, sat beside me on the porch steps, kicked his feet like he was keeping time with the breeze. He didn't ask about her anymore. Didn't mention Ben, or the guest room, or the way Mommy used to yell when the microwave beeped. He just moved on, the way kids do. But sometimes I still saw it. In the way he flinched when voices got loud. In the way he hugged me like I might disappear. That night, he asked me something I wasn't ready for. Tucked under his glow stars, dragon in hand, he looked up and whispered, Daddy, who's Ben? I froze. The name fell like a stone between us. I sat beside him, gently moved the hair from his forehead. Someone we don't need to talk about, I said. Okay. He nodded. Didn't push. Just rolled over and closed his eyes. And for the first time in months, I slept. I promised my sons I'd protect them. That promise cost me my marriage, but not my soul. It's been 8 months. Lucas is 4 now. Taller. Louder. Kinder. He tells knock-knock jokes that make no sense and insists dinosaurs still live under our porch. And I let him believe it. Because kids deserve soft truths before they meet the sharp ones. We have a new rhythm now. Breakfasts together. Preschool drop-offs. Grocery trips where he helps pick apples and says we need cookies, too. Like it's a life or death emergency. Sometimes he draws pictures of our family. Just me and him. No Mommy. No Uncle Ben. And I never correct him. Erica still gets supervised visits, twice a month at a local center. She shows up sometimes. Sometimes not. She's in therapy now, or so her lawyer says. Has a job at a boutique somewhere. Posts photos of sunsets with captions like healing is messy. I don't follow her. But I see the screenshots friends send me. And last week, I saw one that made me sit down. It was her and a new guy. Smiling. His name was tagged. I clicked it. And there it was, right in the bio. Full-time nanny. Lover of life. Stepdad energy. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I laughed. Not a bitter laugh. Not sad either. Just quiet. Of course. Of course she found another nanny. It was never about Ben. Not really. It was about the idea of escape. Of novelty. Of being adored by someone too naive to know better. Someone who doesn't notice the way she twists the truth just enough to survive in it. But me? I changed. I stopped waiting to be chosen. I stopped mistaking silence for peace. And I made a vow I'll never break. No one gets near my son unless they earn it. There's no pact anymore. No pretending. Just me, Lucas, and the slow rebuild of a home that doesn't hide secrets behind playroom walls. This story doesn't end with rage or revenge. It ends with custody papers in a locked drawer and waffles every Sunday. Because some people never change. But I did.